What's up, gang? Kawaii50 here with another fake Grand Order video, and of course, it is time. With the anniversary soon upon us, we need to talk about CASTORIA. Hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe, and let's just start talking about her. CASTORIA has one quick 3 arts and 1 buster card, as well as a noble phantasm with some absolutely absurd effects. Her max HP of 14,406 and her max attack of 10,546 are pretty alright, but that's really not something we are super worried about with her kit. What's important are those skills. Her NP per hit and star absorption are also solid, but again, the reason I am glossing over these things is because they are just not very important in the grand scheme of things. Let's go ahead and dash towards what is important. CASTORIA's first skill is Charisma of Hope rank B. This gives all allies a 10 to 20% attack boost, and it also increases everyone's Noble Phantasm gauge by 20 to 30%. I really can't talk about necessarily skill priority here on CASTORIA, so I'm just gonna, again, go over these really quick. You need to level all of her skills to 10. This is ideal. It is the same rule as it was with Scotty, as well as Merlin. You want all of these skills leveled up to 10 as fast as possible. So please go ahead and do that. CASTORIA's second skill is Blessing of the Lake rank A, increasing one ally's Noble Phantasm gauge by 10 to 20%, for a total of 50% at max levels, if we're including that first skill. It also increases all allies' NP gain by 20 to 30% for 3 turns. This on an Art Servant is very important. If you thought you were seeing crazy numbers with Hohenheim, well, you have not seen anything yet when it comes to CASTORIA. And CASTORIA's third skill is Sword of Selection rank EX. This gives all allies a massive 30 to 50% Ars card effectiveness boost, and also applies a special attack bonus against threats to humanity for 3 turns for another 30 to 50%. And just as a little bit of a cherry on top, let's go ahead and give that ally 1 turn of just straight up invincibility. Yeah, this deck is stacked. Absolutely stacked. For CASTORIA's pen skill, we only really need to worry about mana loading. This is a 10 to 20% starting NP gauge that is good on absolutely everybody. CASTORIA's Noble Phantasm is around Caliburn. This gives all allies a 30 to 50% attack boost for 3 turns, and then clears all of their debuffs. However, this has another insane bonus on the overcharge effect. This applies a buff which ignores ignore invincibility. This is basically ultimate invincibility. Invincibility on steroids. This starts out at being effective for 1 time, and it lasts over the course of 3 turns, but if you go ahead and pump CASTORIA's Noble Phantasm into overcharge, at 500% overcharge, you're looking at 5 instances where you are just straight up invincible and nothing can break through. This makes CASTORIA a good choice for challenge quests as well as general farming. It is absolutely nutty. So who do we pair with CASTORIA? Well, honestly, every single Art Servant in the game will benefit heavily off of CASTORIA. I'm sure you saw with the insane numbers on her skills, CASTORIA is a very stacked support servant, to the point where she has absolutely eclipsed Merlin and Scotty. She is the best support servant in the game, and double CASTORIA looping is going to become the standard for farming going forward. Also, with that invincibility buff, she's very good in challenge quests as well. So it's about time to pull all of your Art Servants off the bench and use all of them for the foreseeable future. Now, while CASTORIA can loop with just about anybody with enough finagling, there are of course some star servants that are very powerful in the CASTORIA system. And honestly, if you have even just one of these servants, the game is about to get a lot easier for you. So let's go ahead and mention some of them now. Space Ishtar, Summer Musashi, Summer Jean, Odysseus, Kiara, Summer Melt, Ryder Vinci, Summer Mordred, Sieg, And of course, my level 100 boy, Big Daddy Chen Gong. Pretty much any of these servants will be able to reliably 3-turn loop with Castoria, even at low skill levels. Ideally, you're going to want to equip them with something like Black Grail, and Fragment of 2004 is considered a lot of people's go-to mystic code when it comes to Castoria farming. But there are, of course, a lot of other options you can use, and when it comes to mixed waves of enemies, a max limit Broken Kaleidoscope is still going to be your absolute best bet for making sure you're able to clear those mixed waves or waves with low amounts of characters. Rather than 3, say you hit up 2 or 1, that's when you're going to want that in order to help pad those numbers. But overall, these servants I just mentioned are going to likely be your main go-tos for farming in the future. So if you haven't leveled any of them up yet, you're going to want to go ahead and do that as soon as possible. When it comes to craft essences for Castoria, it's honestly really difficult to say, because most of the time you're probably just going to be using a Bond CE on her, to be quite frank. A Bond CE is going to help pump up your Servant's Bond, get you that Saint Quartz, and get you all of those other delicious Bond CEs. Castoria doesn't really need any sort of craft essence in order to function at peak performance. If you're going in and fighting, say, a big challenge quest enemy, you might end up throwing something like Fragment of 2030 on her so you can reliably generate some critical stars every single turn. Or if you know you're going up against a wave of enemies that's going to maybe Noble Phantasm you turn 1, maybe you might want to go ahead and give her a Kaleidoscope or some sort of starting NP charge CE with overcharge like Devilish Bodhisattva or the like, so you can go ahead and immediately use her Noble Phantasm turn 1, get that attack bonus, and more importantly, get those invincibility stacks from her overcharge effect. But more often than not, Bond CE is where you're going to go. And for command codes, again, Castoria doesn't really need anything to function. I would even go as far to say as you don't necessarily need to chuck any command codes on her if you want to save those slots and save that QP for a bunch of other servants. If you're looking to do just a standard freebie command code setup, you can of course chuck something like Star Drop Rate on her quick cards, and go ahead and maybe pump some Star Gather on her arts cards if you wanted to go ahead and use that to your benefit. But overall, in general, you're probably going to want to leave all of those alone. If you're looking to go really ham into investing in her, you can of course always give her something like Mage of Flowers, make it so you're able to charge up her Noble Phantasm a lot faster and get to those invincibility charges and that attack boost when you need them. Otherwise, just stick something like maybe some healing, maybe some Code Cure on her. You really don't have to break the bank. Just like with her stats, command codes on her cards don't really necessarily matter that much. All of that power is concentrated in her skills. Overall, gang, really, this video is quick because there's not really a lot for me to go into. I kinda wish there was, like with my general servant breakdowns, but I can mercifully make your time into this very short. Castoria is busted. She is absolutely busted. She is the best servant that has ever been released in Fate Grand Order. She enables so many servants to be insanely powerful to the point where the balance of the game itself has been called into question with her release. If you end up having a single Castoria, even just from your friends list, it is going to make your time with the game so much easier. And it might be a great time for newer players to jump in. Maybe start a new account, roll up a Castoria, and the game is basically going to be cake for you from then on out. You can even go as far as, say, having a double Castoria. If you were able to reach that point, you are set. You are absolutely set. You theoretically could just never pull anything else in the game and you would be totally fine. Castoria is the best servant that will come out in Fate Grand Order this year, and Masters should take any and all opportunities to secure her for their roster. She is basically required at this point. Required, that is, if you want to just be absolutely busted. and I quite enjoy that in games. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so let me know your thoughts on Castoria down in the comment section below. I kind of feel like we are all going to come to the same conclusion, so if that's the case, why don't you just go ahead and tell me which servant you will be using in the Castoria system going forward. I myself am going to be relying on Berserker Musashi to clear basically all farming for me for the foreseeable future, but who are you going to use? Let me know down below. If you want to talk more Fate Grand Order, of course, my Discord server is always open. I want to give a big thanks to the patrons on Patreon, subscribers and followers on Twitch, and of course, all of you here on YouTube. It is all of your continued support that makes me want to continue making these videos, and I really, really appreciate it. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I will see you all in the next video.